I'm delighted this morning to be with Daniel Mohammed. Daniel will be on the Central London or at the Central London Evening Property Meet coming up on the 16th of this month. Also Land Insight as well. Reason why is at my one-day event, Daniel, Johnny Britton from Land Insight, and also Gavro Mercado, among Michael Hughes, were on a panel that particular day, and people said, look, we want to really know more about the likes of urban intelligence and land insight. So that's why I've asked Daniel to kindly come back. And I'm sure Daniel's really, really busy, featured recently in The Guardian. So can you tell the potential listeners and listeners who may not be able to come to the meet as well, who are based possibly overseas, how they can, well, what urban intelligence is all about and how it can help developers?
Sure. So urban intelligence is a web-based tool that is getting better and better at and making the planning system simpler for property developers and for other professionals such as planning consultants, architects, surveyors, basically anyone who's interested in assessing what planning potential a site has. It's a tool that's enabling them to establish that pretty quickly. So currently, the only way that you can kind of find out about planning rules is you can either trawl through lots of documents on council websites, which is very unpleasant, even for professionals, believe it or not. And the other option is that you can pay a professional, a planning consultant, to give you professional advice. What we're trying to do is to make it easier for property developers and others in the profession to do more of those preliminary assessments before they go down the professional route. So we enable you to identify those sort of showstopper risks or opportunities. So, for example, allowing you really early to establish that your site's in a flood risk area, allowing you to establish whether you might be around a listed building or a tree preservation order. All of these things can really impact a development scheme. And so our tool is enabling more and more people to find that information out quickly.
And Daniel, your background is initially working, well, you graduated from university in planning studies, is that?
Yeah. So I did my undergraduate in city and regional planning and my master's in urban regeneration. So I'm pretty sort of well immersed into the field of planning. But originally I was working as a planning policy officer, writing a local plan in a local authority in Wales. And then whilst I was at UCL, I was also working as a planning consultant, helping our clients to sort of establish what kind of development potential their own schemes might have had. And I found it really frustrating, even as a professional, having to spend most of my days trawling around council websites, trying to work out what planning rules existed where, because there are lots of layers of planning policy. So you've got the national planning policy framework at the government level, and nowadays you've got neighbourhood plans, and in between you've got the London plan in London, for example, the local plan. So it's a lot for people to get their head around, even the professionals who are constantly having to keep on top of all of these changing sort of rules in order to be able to give their clients the best information. So we focus on on keeping on top of all of that and making it as simple as possible for people to understand the relationships to enable people to save time and money.
Mm-hmm. Well, when did you have the aha moment to, was it when you were at university? Was it when you were working in the local council? Or was it when you moved?
So it started when I was working as a planning consultant. As I was saying, I spent a lot of time trawling around council websites. And, it's not really what I got into planning to do, believe it or not. Trawling through PDFs, it's not the best way to be spending sort of professional time and energy. And so it just shocked me that there wasn't a better way to do this in the information age. Like outside of work, I was able to sort of, use the power of the internet and my smartphone to do all sorts of research. But in work, it was like going into a museum. And like technology just hadn't moved with the times, and so I kind of made it my mission to try and to take the challenge on. Some days I regret it, but a lot of the time there are lots of upsides too.
So urban intelligence is yourself, and Ronan is a key part of urban intelligence as well.
Yeah.
Ronan's an architect,
Yeah, so
So you,
Ronan's an architect, but there are actually five of us. So we've got really mixed backgrounds. A few of us are planners. Ronan, as you mentioned, is an architect. He's also a planner, but we've also got a software developer and a GIS expert, so a geographic information systems expert that works with all of the spatial data. And yeah, that enables us to get a really holistic view of all of the different sort of specialisms that interact when making this product come to life.
sure. And your journey in terms of prop tech being involved in PyLab's cohort 4, is that right?
We were cohort 3. So yeah. So they're currently doing cohort 4, and there is an exciting bunch in at the moment. But we were with Gabrielle, Savannah from Industry Hub, who also there, Tice from Office App, and Ting from what's now Unihood. So we were part of cohort 3 last year.
Sure, and that was created by Rohan Silva, is that right? Have I got that right? Or he's key part of PyLabs?
So I'm not sure about Rohan Silva. So Faisal Butt from Faisal Butt. I think a few of the high-level investors include I've forgotten his name. What's the guy from Dragon's Den?
I didn't know there was a Dragon's Den person involved.
I think he has a loose involvement. I think James Khan. Yeah, James Khan.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one thing which has given you credibility being involved in PyLabs, because from what I understand from one of the new applicants who's got storage app, he told me he was one of 4 of 200 people who got into, and I'm assuming it's something similar for you as well.
Yeah. So our cohort, we were the 5 that were chosen from over 200 applicants. I wouldn't be surprised if there were more these days now. They're a bit more well established and they're a bit more well known. But yeah, I mean, it's a very competitive accelerator to get into.
Sure, and now you've been featured in The Guardian as well. Can you just briefly explain to the listeners why The Guardian featured you in what reference?
Sure. So the Guardian, the journalist actually picked up on an interesting study that was done by the Future Cities Catapult on the state of the art of digital planning. So the Future Cities Catapult is the government's catapult center, which is focused on smart cities, so things like sensors, the Internet of Things, but they've also taken a big interest in urban planning and its digitization. So we were one of the companies that was highlighted in that report as being sort of on the cutting edge of digital planning in the UK, and that was what sort of caught the Guardian journalist's attention. So we were one of the companies that was mentioned in it, but it's given us a lot of help. We've got a lot of sort of attention from all sorts of random places that we may not have got attention thanks to the article, which is really great.
Sure. I was going to say to you, Daniel, I know you're speaking at my event on the 16th of this month, 16th of March.
Yeah.
Is there any other ways people can connect with you? Is there Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter? What's your preferred method of connection?
So we're not the best on Facebook. We're getting pretty active on our Twitter. We're trying our best to do the social media thing. So our Urban Intelligence Twitter handle is Urban Intel UK. My own is Dan Mohammed, and we're also on LinkedIn as well. But you can find all of that on our website, which is urbanintel.io.
Sure. So on the 16th of this coming month, it's at the London Bridge Hotel. It's an evening event, ticketed event. You're going to go into a little bit more detail about urban intelligence, or a lot more detail. What will people take away from the evening?
I think from the evening and what we'll be able to sort of get into with the products, we're going to help people understand how tools like ours can help reduce the risks of making mistakes, especially when getting involved in property development. And not like, so there's a huge sort of risk currently that you might miss key things. So for example, at your event a few weeks ago, Paul Higgs was talking about a developer who didn't even realize that he had a listed like a listed feature within his development. And so urban intelligence will help people to understand how they can identify those key risks, such as trees, flood risks, as well as seeing planning opportunities where regeneration is being planned. So you can get interesting housing developments and things like that. So we can help you identify all of those things quite simply through the use of an online tool, which is really attractive. And we can tell you a bit more about how it works.
Daniel, I just want to say huge thanks, and huge thanks
Thank
to our
you.
listeners as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
No
you.
worries. Thanks, Brendan.
Bye.